Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly celebration. We are celebrating Pentecost this week, and I'll talk about that a little later in our service. But I want to let you know that we have Spirit Hill in the house as our special music. We have Andrea Matros as our practitioner of service. So once again, I'm so excited that you are joining us. Settle in, relax, and off we go.
All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shine upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free, I'm released. I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm released. Sweet rain that washes me clean. Sweet rain that washes me clean. The mind creates all things, into my life it brings. Sweet rain that washes me clean. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shine upon my face. All that I need comes to me. 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 All that I need comes to me.
So the path of receptivity is the theme for the month, and I feel so grateful, for I feel receptivity when we put it in the context of an invocation and a blessing is just exactly what we do, right? The receptivity is that the divine is always speaking to us, whether we know it or not, or feel it or not. Some days you wake up and you go, oh yeah, I feel good today. Other days not so much, but the divine doesn't, come and go. Always, always, always. It's the path of receptivity, because when we take that moment, a sacred pause, just to listen to the birds and to do what it is that we do, to love each other, to be receptive to what it is calling us to do in this day. And so I am so grateful to have this opportunity to share these words of the divine with you. They come from my heart to yours. So here is today's blessing and invocation. I call to this divine spirit and this divine one, and I say yes. Yes to all that is going forth in this world, in my life, in all of our lives. We greet this day, we greet this moment again and again. We must say yes. For I believe that we are guided and we are a blessing. And I believe that each and every one of us is truly that for the other. And may we be that for ourselves. So that sacred pause to take a breath is to do that. Feel your body and breathe into yourself and say, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for this day and all the energy that will be going out and all the energy that will be coming in. And we just ride the wave. For I am here and now, here and now, here and now, here and now, and I am blessing you. That is the beloved one. I am blessing you as you are blessing the others, because that is the truth. The divine lives within us. So I am so grateful to be here with you, and I call it forth into being, knowing it is so, and so it is.
Here is today's reading from the Radiance Sutras, translated by Lauren Roach. This is Sutra number 87. Waves rise from water, flames arise from fire, rays emanate from the sun. So do you and I shine forth from the mysterious one.
Oh, great spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me. Oh, great spirit, earth, sun, sky,
Great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me. And it is to this Great Spirit that we open up our hearts for this 3-minute meditation, allowing ourselves to sit comfortably. And indeed, take several deep breaths, for as we inspire, we breathe in this great spirit, this love, this divine beingness. And as we exhale, we simply allow, and let be. Oh, great spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me. I sit in an open heart, for wherever I am in this very instant, this moment, this present moment, I can radiate my awareness to all that is. In this place of receptivity, I allow my mind to dwell on the elements of nature, on the beauty of earth and sun and sky and sea, on the receptivity that you are inside and all around me. I allow this truth to settle into my being, this truth always all-pervading. What is inside is all around me. We take these few precious moments, this sacred pause. Pause now. Pause now with me in this moment, and again in the next. We take a sacred pause to listen, to feel, and to breathe, and to acknowledge that this divine beingness is inside and all around me. I am grateful for the awareness, the breath of life, and the continuation of this divine spirit, for its teachings and its message and its divine order. I call it forth knowing that it exists in, through, and as all things. Guide me, protect me, and give me the strength and courage to step forward, known or unknown, in great faith, in great truth, for my heart of hearts knows that you are inside and all around me. And so it is.
So in the ancient Jewish world, there was a festival known as Pentecost. Pentecost celebrated 50 days after Passover. And it was the first real agricultural festival of the ancient Jewish people. It celebrated the first grains, like so many ancient cultures. And so in this world, people would stream into the city of Jerusalem, and it would be a big party. It was a really important deal. But Pentecost, meaning 50 days, like so many ancient festivals, like so many rituals and festivals that we do, are usually co-opted from something more ancient. In this case, from the earlier inhabitants of the land who celebrated, because they were agricultural societies, they celebrated the grains, the harvesting. It was a big, important thing. So Pentecost was also kind of co-opted by the Christian church because there was a really interesting event that happened on a specific Pentecost that happened shortly after the time of Jesus' death. And that is, as the stories go, Jesus was appearing, or people were having encounters with Jesus after his death for about 40 days after the execution itself. And in them, he was telling his disciples to stay into the city of Jerusalem and to wait. And so, as the story goes, on the morning of Pentecost, the disciples were gathered together in prayer, probably hiding and probably afraid because, just of all the things that were happening. But then something interesting happens. They hear the sound like a mighty wind. And as it's kind of whooshing into the room, there appears to be tongues of fire above each their heads, like the crown chakra is alighted with gold. And they begin to speak in different languages. This Holy Spirit filled them and went out. And there's a couple things that I think are really important to feel about this, subtly but importantly. And the first is this, is the tongues of fire. They refer to, really in the ancient world, the wearing of crowns. Because even today, the crown on the head of the monarch symbolizes this crown, this flame. In the ancient world, kings were anointed the sons of God. And here, anybody and everybody is being anointed as the son and daughter of God. And then this idea that they begin to speak a language that other people can understand. And this harkens all the way back to the Babel story. Remember when King Nimrod was wanting to be a world power and to build this mighty tower, this monument to himself and to his own power, what happens is confusion shows up. And so it's never built, it's never completed. And as the story goes, we have been living in confusion ever since. But here, something remarkable happens. And that is that the disciples are able to speak in a way that people understand. So there's this evolutionary shift that happens in this myth, in this story, that we are moving from confusion to understanding. In confusion, there's separation. In understanding, there's connection. So we're moving from a time of separation into a time of connection. probably the most important aspect of this whole festival, and why I'm talking about it today, is that it's really about this input of spirit into our life. St. Paul says that let the same mind that is in the Christ be in you, the same mind that is in the Buddha, the same mind that is in the prophet, the same mind that is in every saint and acharya and avatar is the same mind that is operating in each and every one of us. And so the mantra that we say to resonate and to anchor this in is this: I am that which I conceive myself to be in spirit. And there's something else that I sort of want to weave into our talk today that kind of comes from this, and it actually comes from the Buddhist tradition, and that is this. One of the things that Thich Nhat Hanh says is the future Buddha will be the Sangha. Because, in all religious traditions, there's the teacher, there's the Dharma, and there's the Sangha. There's the teacher or the avatar, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, the prophet. There are the teachings, the Dharma, the Bibles, the scriptures, the Dhammapada, the Bhagavad Gita, whatever the sacred teachings or literatures are. And then there's the Sangha, the community, the mosque, the church, the Sangha, the sacred community. But what's being said here is that the real presence of the avatar, the presence of the Christ, the logo, the Buddha, arises no longer from an individual, but arises from a community. And what's important here is that sense of spirit that infuses us, because what we're dealing with these days is moving away from fear being the source of our identity, or separation being the source of our identity, to really moving into who I am is a divine idea, and that divine idea by its very nature is connected to all other living beings. That I am that which I intend to be, and that which I intend to be is the presence of love, and the presence of love unites me in all creation, in all things. Something that Ram Dass says is, he says, there's two things that we always need to remember. The first is our social security number. And the second is that we are loving awareness. We are loving awareness. And when we remember that, our perspective on all things changes. We move from fear, anxiety, separation, to love, to connection, to heal, to wholeness. St. John in his epistle says this: there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear expects punishment. The person who is afraid has not been made perfect in love. And again, this isn't a judgment. It's just it's a metric of how we gauge. If there is fear, if there is anxiety, if there is worry, if there is a sense of separation, then love has not fully embraced who we are. And it's just simply a way for us to take note and to be present to, and to allow that greater experience of love to come into us. And the thing about love is this, is it doesn't protect us from bad things happening. The phone call in the middle of the night, the diagnosis, the loss of the job, or any of those things. These are just part of what it means to live in the world that we do. And love does not protect us from these things happening. But what love does do is it says to us that in all of these experiences, we are not alone. That's the power of love. It's that grace that Paul Tillich says, that we can accept that we are accepted, that we are loved not for what we do, but for not even for who we are, but we are just simply the presence of love. Love gives and receives love. And so instead of using our imagination to create scenes that may or may not ever happen, I call these things future tripping. And what future tripping is creating an imagination of some event that's going to happen, and then using the bandwidth of our mind and our imagination to try to resolve situations that probably are never going to occur. And instead, we can begin to use our imaginations to create health and joy and prosperity and love and community, and how much more powerful that is. And you know, if the Buddha, if the Christ, if the prophet is the community, that's where we experience love. That's where it is. You know, there's this remarkable story, both in the Buddhist stories and in the stories of Jesus, where people would come to the disciples and say, man, there's something about you guys. What is it? And the answer is the same in both of them. Come and see, come and see, come and see. And what they see and what's written about is, look how they love one another. That's the radical and revolutionary and evolutionary situation that we are in today. So what I want to offer is the path of receptivity is the path of love. The path of receptivity is not about controlling. It's about receiving, giving and receiving love, grace, accepting that we are accepted. And for some of us, it's a path that we follow. And sometimes there are things that we need to do to sort of move us to that place. In other words, we have to re-examine and reassess our intentions. Is our intention to be guided by separation, or is our intention to be separated from love? Something that Margaret Paul says is this: your intent is what ultimately controls your actions. Let me say that again. Your intent is ultimately what controls your actions. And the action that we take is what manifests in the experience that we call our life. In her book, Diet for a Divine Connection, Margaret Paul and her colleague, Eric Chopra, talk about 6 steps that we can use to work on our own inner bonding. And this is something that I'm going to be spending the next month and a half talking about, these steps of inner bonding. But I want to share them with you today so you get a kind of a flavor of where we're going. And the first is this, is to be willing to feel the pain and take responsibility for your feelings. What that means is be willing to feel anything. You know, something that my teacher used to say, in order to feel anything, you have to be willing to feel everything, because you know it's not like you get to feel more joy and less sorrow, but we feel them all. We allow ourselves to feel them all, so we don't narcotize, we don't numb, we don't distract. We recognize that what we're feeling is the weather. It's coming, it's not controlling us, it's giving us information like a wave. It comes in and it comes out. And we don't resist it. We are undefended to those experiences. The second is to move into the intention to learn. And it's not so much like this was meant to be, because, you know, I just don't buy the idea that our world, our life is determined. But what I do know is that I can respond with the intention to learn. What can this teach me? What can I learn from this? What can I gain as information? You know, we learn by our mistakes. Watch a baby learning how to walk. It's a process of falling and falling and falling and judging and reassessing and doing. What has happened is we've placed a value judgment on failure. But failure is an opportunity for us to reassess and to learn and to stay in the game. Then the third component is to dialogue with your wounded self, to check in what's going on. Why am I afraid? Why am I angry? Why am I anxious? What's got me hooked? What's going on? And to say to myself, why am I feeling this way? What is this bringing up for me? Where is this taking me? And so we dialogue with our wounded selves. And the fourth is we dialogue with our highest guidance. We all have an inner critic. That voice inside of us that says there is no voice, that's constantly telling us how we could have done it better, how we should have done it this way, and maybe if we had did this, that would have happened. That voice. We all have one. But we also have an inner guide. That voice within us that is loving, wise, and good, and desires our best. And so it may take some time, but we want to tap into that inner guide and use it instead of our critic as the real resource for where we are. And then the fifth is to take loving action. Gratefulness is an action. The practice of gratitude is an action of love because it's expansive, it's generous, it's open, it's receptive. And then finally, evaluate your actions. So the other day I had this dream, and this Ananda spirit came to me in the dream and said, eat, think, and act for the best and clearest energy. Eat, think, and act for the best and clearest energy. And so I offer that to you as a tool as you are looking at that piece of pie, or you're dwelling on something that wherever you're going, or you're about to do something, to ask yourself this question. Is this action I'm about to take, is this thought that I'm dwelling on, is this thing on my fork for the best and clearest energy that we can use? Because let's face it, the spiritual path is all about how we manage our personal energy. And so, my dear friends, on this path of receptivity, we recognize that our community is the presence of the divine, and that it is a loving and supporting community, and that we are moving away from separation. We're moving away from fear and embracing unconditional love, the act of giving and receiving love. We reflect, are my actions guided by this or guided by love? And what are the steps that I can take to becoming a more loving, generous, and kind individual? That the same mind that has lived in all divine beings is the mind that is living in me, and that my gift to the world is living my original self. And so, dear friends, for those whom you love and those whom you receive love from, I wish you many, many, many blessings.
Up above my head, I hear music in the air. Up above my head, I hear music in the air. I really do believe there's a heaven Up in my room, I hear music. Up in my room, I hear music, sweet music. I really do believe there's a heaven somewhere. Everywhere I go, I hear music. Everywhere I go, I hear music. I really do believe, yeah, there's a heaven somewhere. All over the world, I hear music, sweet music. All over the world, I hear music. Oh, I really do believe, yeah, there's a heaven somewhere. Up above my head, I hear music in the air. Up above my head, yeah, I hear music, sweet music. I really do believe, yeah, there's a heaven somewhere. Everywhere I go, I hear music. Everywhere I go, there's music. Oh, I really do believe there's a heaven somewhere. I really do believe there's a heaven. There's a heaven somewhere. Thank you guys. It's been so fun being up here. Thank you so much.
So as we talk about, or as I talk about, as I share with you, I realized as I was sitting there and thinking, this isn't anything that we don't already know. This conscious place to give. This conscious place, this conscious investment. Yeah. And it starts with ourselves. Because don't we feel good when we're giving to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha? I love that. You know, here it is, Rev Guy, he speaks these words, and we get lifted up. And it reminds us that we are the consciousness of the teachings that are coming forth right here and now. Each one of us is the consciousness now. And so we come together with the Sangha, with the amazing community, and we feel lifted up. Every one of us feels lifted up. And then we become a light on the hill. We truly are a light on the hill. We bring the consciousness of the love and the divine right here and now, and we are the ones lifting it up. And I offer, please, join with me and know this. Know that we are the light on the hill, and we are the ones right here in this moment lifting it up. We come together in love, in unity, in consciousness, with the teachings of the divine in all walks of life, in all faiths, in community, in love, in giving and sharing. And may we all feel like we belong. We belong in our bodies, we belong in our hearts, we belong right here, right now, right here, right now. Your beauty, your love, your divine beingness. I know you choose to give to this place, for I do. It makes me feel good. And when I don't, I'm like, Andrea, come on, get it together. Don't forget. This is who we are. This is what we want to support. So the tithe box is there. And we appreciate it. We need it. We want you to tithe, and we are grateful that you do. So thank you so much for being here today. Much love always.
Thank you for being here, Spirit Hill. I'm seeing my brothers there getting ready to go for a ride today. Not that I'm envious, but it's going to be a beautiful day. Yeah. It's going to be a beautiful day. So my blessing is this: to those whom you love and those whom you receive love from, that love casts out all fear, filling us with a Holy Spirit, a new Pentecost in our life. And that is my blessing to each and every one of you.